Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've seen me before. Today I want to talk about the Free Britney thing. There's so many people that are talking about the misogyny part of the whole Free Britney movement because of the documentary. Because people think that, well, she's under such a massive thing with her conservatorship, but nobody else is doing this. Robert Downey Jr. had a meltdown, and he wasn't put in conservatorship. Like, what? Huh? Yeah, and I get that that's part of it, because, yeah, it's part of it. But that's not the part I want to talk about, because there's something more within that whole thing that people are not really truly talking about. And that's the stage parent part of the whole thing. If you don't know anything about the whole Free Britney documentary thing, a lot of the parts of this conservatorship that she's part of is her father. He wants to be a part, he wants to have sole conservatorship over her, specifically over her finances. And that smacks of stage parent antics. Now, we have to go back into the history of the entertainment business with child stars to really truly discuss the whole stage parent thing. Stage parent is a parent, and this is my opinion of what a stage parent seems to be, the stage parent is a parent who sees dollar signs whenever their child displays any modicum of talent. We can go all the way back through history into Jackie Cooper. He was a child star in the 1920s and 30s who fought his parents over his own finances because his parents were bleeding him dry. All the money that he earned on set of movies and films and stuff, his parents were spending because his parents were under the impression that his money was their money and that they can spend it anytime they want, but it was his money. So he helped facilitate this whole movement of protecting a child star's assets from his parents. So that's the start of the whole stage parent seeing dollar signs with their kids thing. It goes into, other child celebrities, but the most prominent in my generation was not only Macaulay Culkin from her Home Alone movies, but Gary Coleman from the 1970s show Different Strokes. He sued his parents over the money because they were bleeding him dry, not because they were using him, but like Jackie Cooper, they thought that his money that he was earning was their money. And so they were spending his money like it was made out of water when it was actually for him. And it was to protect him. It was for him. Yeah, it's like when you and whoever you want to have sex with has a child, the child support payments are for the child. You as the parent, the sole custody person of the child, can spend it on the bills to provide for the house and the clothes for the child. But if you're the parent paying child support, you have to provide for that child. But the money doesn't go to the child. It goes to the parents of that child so that child can have a place to live. So that child can have food in its stomach that you as the other parent helped provide for him. That's what child support is. So that's what this money that these child stars are earning is for. It's for you as the parent who legally has the money, needs needs to be using it towards your child's welfare, for your child's well-being. You do not get to use your kid's money to buy a freaking mega mansion, a Tesla for you, and not for your child to use. Child's not old enough to drive a Tesla. Why does he have a Tesla? You see it with the Ace family. All of the money that they're earning is basically from their kids. They don't have a fan base. Their kids have a fan base. Children and young people are watching these videos solely for the sake of seeing these kids, watching these kids. But you see it in Austin with Broom having this huge, massive house. Why? Why do you have to live in that house? Why can't you live in some $1 million house, for your kids? I get, you want to provide for your kids, you want them to have a nice house, but what reason do you need a mega $1 million mansion with an infinity pool? Your child doesn't need that. They can survive without that. The three basic needs that a human being needs are food, shelter, and clothing. We also need water. That's the fourth one that people tend to forget. But there's no reason to have a massive infinity pool. Jet skis. How is little 5-year-old Ella using that jet ski? With her father? No. How is she using it by herself? How is that for her? That's not her toy. That's your toy. Why? Because you got to buy it? Then you make a video. You make a YouTube channel. You earn that money yourself. Are you not interesting enough solely independently from your family that you cannot earn your money yourself? Instead, and not like scamming your child fans with a stupid app. No. Get off your lazy ass. Make yourself a YouTube channel doing basketball tricks that you get to do completely separate from your family. And you can earn the money that you get to spend. Your child doesn't need a $50 million house. No, your child is perfectly fine with a bedroom and like a 3-bedroom house. There's no reason for these people to be spending an exorbitant amount of money claiming it's for their kids. No, it's not. It's for you. Look at all the things that Austin has that is his. His car. How is that for your child? How is a Tesla, a Hummer for your child? That's not their thing to have. It is your thing to have. Because you can argue, well, she gets to ride in it. She doesn't care. What makes you think she cares? No. Get her an American Girl doll. You're rich enough that you can afford that. A bedroom with like nice furniture. But you see, like, he's using the money that he's getting from his kids to fund his lifestyle. Like his little wife and her stupid clothing line. Yeah, okay, you have a clothing line, but nobody's buying that fucking clothes. Nobody cares about you. 5-year-olds don't care about you. They don't give a rat's ass about your slutty behavior. Nobody cares. And then he sits there and he cheats on his wife, who we don't know, number one, that he is cheating on his wife. And she obviously doesn't care. She's obviously got downgraded. Apparently she, left Michael B. Jordan for him. Why, I'll never know. Why that's important, I'll never know. I don't care. She obviously doesn't. He's trying to provide for... No, he's not. He's trying to be rich. He's trying to be hood rich, living a life on a hog because he thinks that he gets to. Because that's what he wanted. So he sees his little kids as a ticket to the big time. That's not their job. Ella's job is to be Ella. That's her job. His other little kid's job is to be them. That's their job. They are to go, are they even in school? Like, are they even old enough to be in school? Like, are they going to homeschool their kids? They're going to get big, what are you going to have another kid? Yeah, the kid gets to have a job. It makes no sense. But then again, there's the stage parent who sees dollar signs with their kids. You see it with Daniel Kahn. You see it a little bit with Eugenia Cooney. It's all about what these kids can do for these adults. It's nothing about the welfare of these kids. Why does little Danny Kahn have tattoos? She's not old enough to have tattoos. I'm pretty sure the law in California is you have to be 18 to get a tattoo. I know the law in New York State is you can be 17 with parental permission, but that's 17. She's apparently not actually 16 to 17 years old. She's apparently an 8th grade girl. She's in 8th grade. Why is she not in school? It's a pandemic. So, obviously. But, what is she going to do when she's like 35 and her entire existence on social media is her sexual worth? Not her personality, not any modicum of talent, but what she can do for other people. What she can offer other people. Because her mother can make an argument, oh, she's doing this on her own. Okay, so you're okay with some 50-year-old man jacking off to her. How do you know that's not happening? How do you know that there's not nude images of your daughter, your little 8th grade daughter, parading around the dark web, half naked, and with 50 to 60, 80-year-old men jacking off to her? That's okay with you? That's okay? But she has a body, and that doesn't mean that she gets... you can make the argument, well, she has this body and she has these boobs. That doesn't mean that you can just parade them around like that. I have boobs too. Do you see them? No. Why? Because that's not the fucking point. Just because I have them doesn't mean you get to see them. But because everybody's pretty much seeing the tops of her boobs, they get to view what the rest of them look like. 60-year-old men get to look at Danny Kahn and jack off to her because she's sexually enticing to them. That's okay? Of course it is. Because it makes her mother money. Because we can make the argument of she's pimping out her daughter, all you want. She's not going to stop. And her daughter's going to reap the consequences of this well into adulthood. And this is going to be detrimental to her. But you know what? Making her money. Oh well. Her mental well-being is not important as long as I have a massive mansion that I get to live in. Because Jenny can say, well, I bought this house. No, you didn't. You may have funded the house, but you're not old enough to have your name on the lease of that house because you're not legally old enough to enter into a binding legal contract. You're not old enough. You can say you're 17 all you want. It doesn't make you 18. You're 17, okay? You want to say you're 17 all you want? That doesn't make you 18. That doesn't make you legally old enough to enter into a legally binding contract. And guess what? That's what the bank is doing to you. That's what a mortgage is. It is a legally binding contract with the bank, asking the bank, can I live here? Yeah, you can if you pay me XX amount of dollars. Okay, yeah, I think I can do it. I think I can swing that. Okay. Sign papers here. Your mother signed those contracts. Even your old enough brother signed those contracts. You didn't, because you're not old enough to buy those. You're not old enough to sign those contracts. And even if you did sign those contracts, then some lawyer's gonna have a field day because the bank allowed an 8th grade girl to sign a legally binding contract for a house, to pay a mortgage from a house. You don't know what a mortgage is. Because on the simple surface, it's asking the bank, can I live at this house? Can I live here? Okay, yeah, you have to pay me, but you don't really truly know the true definition of a mortgage, the true ramifications of a mortgage. I don't even know that. And I'm an adult. Ask any adult who goes to the bank to enters into a mortgage with a house. They wouldn't even know how it is. How does that work? No adult knows that. And you think at your age, you know what that is? Do you honestly think the bank will let you do that? No. No bank, with their time and energy, with the money they built us for, is going to let a 8th grade girl sign a legally binding contract for a mortgage, regardless of how much money she has. Because that's not her. She's not legally old enough to have that money. That's her parents' money. But then again, it is. But it's not. Because although she earns that money, her parents are the only ones that can handle that money. Because it's obvious to me that this little chick is not the kind of chick who puts that money into a trust fund for your daughter. So your daughter can't have that money until she's like 21, 25. Because that would mean that she could not touch that money. And she wants to touch that money. Because that parent wants to be able to buy Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada, Gucci things. Because she wants it. So the argument with the conservatorship, with Britney's conservatorship, is all about Jamie wants control over Britney Spears' money. Which is why every time they go to court, you'll notice he fights tooth and nail to keep his position as the sole conservator of her, mainly her finances. You ever notice how every time it happens, his side will argue how she's not allowed to have a say? Because she's not of sound mind, but she is. But she's not, but she is. You're not of sound mind, do this choreography. She's mentally deficient, but she can do hard choreography. You ever watch Britney Spears choreography? Britney Spears is one of the most gifted technical dancers I've ever seen. She's incredibly gifted as a dancer. She can do the most difficult routines. But she's not sound mind to know what she wants in terms of the... But I don't understand the argument in that. I don't understand. You want her to make money for you? You want her to do like Vegas things, which, by the way, you ever notice how that didn't happen? You ever notice? Because if you watch the Britney documentary, you know that they introduced her for the Vegas show and she walked off stage. She did her part. Dad, I did my part. But no, that's all you're getting. So she is of sound mind. She is of sound mind. Because she blatantly disrespected her father's wishes by walking the hell off that goddamn stage when she was introduced to her Vegas residency. She didn't do that Vegas residency. She stood on that stage when they pulled the curtain and said, that's it, goodbye. She walked off. Her father was probably pissed as hell. But she did what she had to do to say, I'm not doing this. Which is why every time they fight it in court, they want to argue that she's not of sound mind to make these decisions, but she's of sound mind to do this thing. Because I need her to do this. Because we're losing money. I'm losing money. Because she's no longer performing. She's no longer selling. But I need that money. No, you don't. You don't need that money. But he does. Because he has a house to buy. He has a boat to buy. He has an island to buy. It has nothing to do with her. So we can argue about the misogyny in the entertainment business all we want. It really truly goes back to the stage parent and Jamie Spears seeing Britney Spears as a cash cow. And how there are so many stage parents, because that's what you are. Sorry, that's what you are. Using their child to make themselves rich. Has nothing to do with the child's welfare and well-being and joy. It's all about what they can do for them. Your child has a job. Britney Spears was born with a job to make her father rich. Ella and all the other little Austin McBroom kids, their job is to make Austin rich. Danny Cohen was born to make her mother rich. That was her only job. She was born with a job. And as Dr. Phil would say, you don't give a kid a job. Unless you don't give a rat's ass about your kid. Because he doesn't care about Britney. Austin doesn't care about his kids. It's all about what they can do for him. He doesn't want to be a parent. He wants to be a manager. He wants to be rich. He wants to use and step on his kids to get up to where he thinks he wants to be. And so does Jamie Spears. And so does that little Jennifer chick who's Danny Cohen's mom. I think I said what I needed to say. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.